Okay, what up YouTube? This video is taken on this Thursday afternoon, March 14th, 2024. Time right now is 4:31 p.m. And in case you guys haven't been noticing, I've been making it a New Year's goal. Oh, I gotta fix this. I don't have the battery lead strapped in. I've been making it a New Year's goal to try to post a video every Friday. So I needed to post a video this Friday, which is the 15th, tomorrow, which is today. That's being posted, but being filmed yesterday. And I have quite a bit of topics to choose from to post a video, but I didn't really feel like I had something that was worthy of its own video. So I thought I would do a Mish Mash video, an old school Joe or none Mish Mash video, where I just kind of go over a couple of different topics that I'm interested in. I guess it's kind of like a general update, but we'll call it Mish Mash. So I just finished trimming this tree, or bush. I gotta figure out what it's called. And they changed this. And technically here, I'm gonna pick it up because these are new propellers. Technically, this is a test flight. I went and I broke the arm off this quad last Saturday. So I had one spare arm left. So that's another thing I got to do is I got to manufacture a whole bunch of spare arms so that when I break one, I can just go ahead and replace it. Which, as far as that working out on this Questor frame, that works out really well. I'm very happy with the way arm replacement goes. Just 2 screws and bam, the arm's replaced. So anyway, yeah, this is a test flight. But anyway, since the new year, my county changed its yard waste rules, and you gotta bundle your yard waste, and you're only allowed 1 bundle or bag. You're allowed 3 bags or 1 bundle up to 4 foot. So slowly every week I've been trimming trees. Like, this was a 2-week job. It took 2 bundles to trim this one up. Trimming bushes like this banana, trim this up. That was a bundle. So every week I try to put a bundle out there. And thankfully my Pargo works perfectly for laying yard waste down to bundle it up. So I just finished trimming that one. So next week I got to trim this one. So pretty much that other one looked like this one, but pretty much it takes 1 bundle to trim it up like this. But the cool part is once I trim them up, there's a lot of cool gaps to hit. I've been trying to fly once a week 5-inch. I'm still into 5-inch flying. I'm not ready to give it up. I just really enjoy flying a 5-inch. I know now you can set up a 3.5. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. Habitually disarmed. Oh, my grass is too thick. Yeah, I just really enjoy flying 5-inch. I know you can set up a 3.5-inch to fly like 5-inch now, pretty much, but I don't know. I like flying 5-inch. I did buy a Fly Lens 85, and I've been trying to, I need to really sit down and work with it. I need to tune it, and I have an interesting video I want to do with it. I want to take that Fly Lens 85, and since it's sub 250, I want to take it to downtown Orlando and dive and dash the tallest building in downtown Orlando, which I forget what it is. I looked it up. It's not that high compared to like skyscrapers in other areas, but it would be the tallest building I ever dived. Right now, the tallest thing I ever dived was 430 feet. That was the Orlando Drop Tower. But yeah, after this flight, I'll go and show you some other things I'm getting into. I've been trying to be a good steward of my time. That was another kind of New Year's resolution. So every weekday I try to finish at least one thing, like one thing I check off my list. And it seems like I watched a video of this girl that I actually ran across her videos because she did one about the Apple Watch, like a video essay about the Apple Watch. And that's another thing is I converted from Android to Apple, and I might do a video on that one of these days. I have an Apple Watch now and an iPhone. I converted just so I could get the Apple Watch for running. Yeah, I'm not really in the zone today, am I? But the good news is, at least when I busted this arm off, the only thing I replaced on this is the arm, the motor, and oh yeah, and I replaced the propellers, of course. But the good part is this thing's still locked in. To the moon, huh? But anyway, yeah, she posted a video last night about time management, which is something I've been focusing on. One thing I noticed though is when I make a list of things I want to do and get done, I always I'm always am less productive than what I am than what I planned. So it seems like everything I do takes longer than what I allocate time for it to do. So at the end of the day, it makes me feel like I wasn't productive at all, but I actually did some of the things I was planning on doing. So I had to. So anyway, it's good to write down what I do, so then that way I feel productive. I don't know. I feel like I'm rambling and I'm not making any sense right now. But we'll go ahead and I have a couple different things I want to show you. So yeah. One thing I meant to mention while I was flying, but I totally forgot, is as I was trimming this bush or tree or palm tree or whatever it's called, towards the end of trimming it, so I'm like all up in this thing, trimming it up, and then towards the very end of trimming it, I reach up and all of a sudden something moves and it's a garden snake. It scared me, but it's a little garden snake. Usually I've seen a lot of black snakes here, and I've seen the orange ring snake here, but I've never seen a garden snake here where I live. So I let it do its thing, chill. I like having snakes around because it's better than having rodents. Okay, so one of the things I'm doing this year is I'm starting a pepper garden. I had a pepper garden here previously, and I even had peppers here, Carolina Reapers, that I had for 3 years. We never had a frost, and they never died, and then eventually they died. So I decided to start a pepper garden. I tried to germinate some seeds that I had. I was going to start a pepper garden several years ago. I bought seeds online, but I never actually germinated them. So I tried to germinate them with the paper towel method, and it didn't work out. Uh-oh. Enemy of plants right there. So that thing will kill, it's not focusing, but that thing is a cricket, and they turn into big yellow crickets, or grasshoppers, I guess. I don't know if it's a cricket or grasshopper. And I can already see it's starting to eat those leaves, so hopefully it doesn't kill it. I'm gonna have to be on top of that, start killing them off. But anyway, back to it. I had these seeds, tried to germinate in wet paper towel method, and it didn't germinate. So then I went on Facebook Marketplace, and a guy had Super Hots for sale, $2 a piece. So I bought 10 of them. And of course, when I went there, he was out of Carolina Reapers, which is the pepper I wanted. But since then, I decided to try to germinate the rest of the seeds a different way, which I'll show you, and I'm having better results. So yeah, I always had one sprinkler head here, but I went and I changed this. I had 3 sprinkler heads, and I have these set up to run 8 minutes in the morning, every morning, so that way I don't have to water this. I don't know exactly what how much time I should have it, but right now it's 8 minutes a day. These boards are from my seawall. They, when the last hurricane, which I can't remember the last hurricane's name, I had to post it in the video. I don't know, I wanted to make this Mish Mash video, but now that I'm starting to make it, I feel like I'm not in the right mindset to narrate a video, if that makes sense. But anyway, that hurricane, when the canal flooded, these two boards popped off the seawall. And I had them, this whole thing was weeded over. I had to weed out, I mean, it was weeded over with like 4-foot high weeds. It was really bad. So I had to clear it all out, and these were like embedded in the ground because I threw them here because I knew I didn't have to mow around this. But I'm not going to reuse this wood. This wood's like in the center. It's hard, but then look, it's rotted here, and then it popped out because it's rotted on the ends here. Yeah, so I can't reuse these boards. So this is going to be a project I'm finally, I think that hurricane was like 2 years ago, maybe it was last year. I'm finally going to do this next week. So like I said, I have all these projects in the pipeline, so I'm trying to get them all done. So they go here. Now, one thing I was contemplating is you see these 6x6s, the tops are rotted out. So part of me was thinking about getting some kind of resin and pouring resin down in here so it has something hard on the top. But I don't think I'm going to do that. Tell me what you think. I don't think that's going to be worth it. I was going to like wrap this in cardboard and then pour resin down the top so it wouldn't rot out. Tell me what you think. But what I think I'm going to do instead is I'm just going to get a 2x6 and screw it on the side here. And then screw the new boards into that 2x6, so then they're into good wood. But yeah, all these 6x6 posts are rotted out on the top. So, and really what I need to do is take more 2x6s and shore up all these boards. None of the seawall when I bought this house was rotted, but slowly but surely it's rotting away. You see that? But I guess joys of home ownership. I let this grow up by weeds, and I just weeded it out preliminarily today to fill up a bag to take out for the yard waste, collect up tomorrow. But I'm going to have overflow of pepper plants here if I fill up that other spot. This sand is really soily. I added topsoil and cow manure over there, but before I did that, that had a lot of good topsoil in it to begin with. But this is a lot more soily. I have this aloe vera plant that I just planted and did nothing with it, and it did pretty good. And then I have this bird of paradise, which I bought these a 2-pack. This one didn't really do too well, but I'll show you the other one in a moment. The other one has done really well. And this is a really cool plant. It's called like a Tropicana Black. It was on sale randomly at the hardware store when I was in there one time. And every once in a while it blooms. When it blooms a really pretty red flower. Like a single stalk comes up and it'll bloom a red flower. In hindsight, I wish I would have bought a whole bunch of these and filled this whole thing in with them. But it very rarely blooms. This is that bird of paradise that I was talking about. So this plant was bought at the same time as the other plant, but as you can see, it did much better in this location. And right now I only have one bloom, but when it blooms out, you know, it'll be filled with all these flowers. I just think these bird of paradises are really neat. So this is what I bought to germinate seeds, and it was very successful buying this Jiffy set, but I've only had like a handful of seeds germinate. All these are filled with seeds that haven't sprouted up yet, but it hasn't been that long. These super hots can take up to 4 weeks. Previously, and I've had this heat mat for a while now. Previously, I did the wet paper towel method, and I had these on the heat mat with the wet paper towel method, and none of them germinated. So I don't know what I did wrong there. And I put them in here to see if they would germinate because this side's not filled up. And these are all the seeds that germinated from using those Jiffy seeds. And these cups are when I bought those seeds off of Facebook Marketplace, they came in these cups, so I just reused them. Most of these are tomatoes. I got quite a few tomato seeds to germinate. Some of these are like what, peach ghost. Peach ghost. I think one of them's like a chocolate habanero. What is this one? You see, this is black magic tomato. But so far, I got one Carolina Reaper seed to germinate, which is this one. Hasn't really taken off yet, but that's the only Carolina Reaper seed that I got to germinate, and that's what I really wanted to grow. I like just having the hottest pepper in the world, but I haven't been up to date in the pepper community. I found out that the Carolina Reaper is no longer the hottest pepper in the world. The hottest pepper in the world now is Pepper X, and that guy is not selling. It's the same guy who developed the Carolina Reaper, but he's not selling any seeds for Pepper X. You can only get it in hot sauce. He's not selling seeds or whole peppers or plants. But there was an eBay listing that claimed they were selling Pepper X seeds, so it was cheap enough. I just went ahead and put in an order. So I'm going to get those and plant them and see how they are. And then I'll probably eat one to see if I got scammed buying seeds off of eBay or if it is really hot. Obviously, unless someone somehow stole the seeds from that guy in Carolina, I think Smokin' Ed is his name, that developed it, they're not legitimate Pepper X seeds. But I did notice Pepper Joe has a seed that Pepper Joe has a pepper that looks like the Pepper X seed. He has a pepper that looks like the Pepper X pepper, and he calls it something else. I'll post it here, and he says it's hotter than the Carolina Reaper. So I don't know what's going on in this pepper community, but maybe eventually they'll actually release the Pepper X and I'll grow it. But we'll see how those seeds come. The weird part is after I ordered them, those seeds come from Italy. And I'm planting peppers just because I like planting peppers. But if you watch my previous videos, you know I have eaten a Carolina Reaper and I have eaten a Butch T. Scorpion. I kind of retired from hot pepper eating. So as I was doing all this work, I was thinking to myself, like, what am I doing this for? I'm not going to eat any of these peppers. But like I said, if I get those bootleg Pepper X seeds to grow, I'll go and eat one of those peppers to see how hot it is. Okay, so another thing I've been getting into is embedded programming again. I haven't really had any embedded programming projects, but I want to get back into it. I got my computer science degree this past summer. Got a bachelor's, and I'm kind of really disappointed. I went through, got my whole degree, and I really didn't feel like I learned anything. I don't feel like I'm a better programmer than what I was before. But I had to do a final project. So when I went to do my final project, I was going to do an embedded programming project, and Ben Heck was doing a project based on the Raspberry Pi Pico, making like a little video game using the Pico. And I thought, with all the chip shortages and what have you, I thought that might be a good environment to learn and start doing projects on the Pico. But I was under a time constraint for that project since it was my final project, and I was having a lot of problems trying to figure out how to program the Pico in C. A lot of the videos for the Raspberry Pi Pico, everything's in Python, which I kind of wanted to avoid since I'm used to C, and C is a much better language than Python. So I ended up giving up on doing that project on the Pico, and I finished it using in AVR, programming in C and AVR, which is my preferred embedded programming language. I don't use Arduino because I really don't like the idea of there's a lot of stuff in the code that you don't know is in there with having bootloaders and what have you. So I learned how to program in AVR-C using a website. I think it was something Garage. It's not even, the website's not even there. And they had really good tutorials that was able to teach me how to learn. So I ended up doing the project with something that was familiar with me, with the OLED screen that was familiar with me, and a micro that was familiar with me, and this is just a fancy IR transmitter that transmits these address codes for the Pal Mickey toy, which I've been thinking about doing a video on that, but if I do a video on that, I kind of want to do like a video essay on Pal Mickey, but it works really well, and I got an A on my final project. My professor was happy with it, but yeah, this was the product. But the thing is, I'm starting to get to the point where I'm doing projects that are really taxing an 8-bit controller. Like I want to show off this project. I haven't really showed it off. Like I was going to make a programmer for animatronics. This was it. And I actually called it. Here, I got to show this off because I spent so much time on this LCD screen. I actually called this one Questor. This was before I made the quadcopter. I don't know if it's picking up on the camera. But I don't even know exactly how I have this thing programmed. LEC select. You see, I think I can change red. Yeah, you see I can change the LCD screen. I like cyan. Aqua? We'll do aqua. But, yeah, it just, and another thing is these 8-bit AVR microcontrollers, they came out with new variants when Microchip and PIC combined. But the thing is, no, it's Microchip was PIC, right? Microchip and AVR combined, Atmel combined. But the thing is, supply issues were getting bad. That's what kind of drove me to, and I tried doing ST32 programming, and I did one small project with ST32 programming, but I really didn't like it because, once again, I felt like ST32 programming, there was a lot of fat in the code, and I like being able to know everything that's in my code. Like, if I import a library, I import single functions at a time, and I go through them to make sure there's no fat in them. So, anyway, after I got done with my computer science degree, I decided to give the Pico one last chance. And so I bought, and another thing is these ST7789 LCD screens, they're kind of all over the place depending on what manufacturer you get, how you interface with them. So that was really confusing. So anyway, what I ended up doing was, and this was the original shield that I was trying to use for that final project, that I could not get this LCD screen to initialize. Even though, and there's one of those things where they claim there were C libraries for it, but in reality, it was based off of MicroPython. So I noticed that there was this company that was more mainstream and is more well documented on their libraries. So I bought this, and I just went through the code line by line and went through the libraries, and I figured out how it worked, kinda. I could not, since this one was 240 by 135 with an ST7789, the way they interface, the way they do the pixel mapping, it's different based off your aspect ratio. And even though I was drawing on this screen, I could not get it set up in an orientation that would make it easy to draw text. So I pulled this thing back out, and everything I learned from getting this thing to work by using my own code on C, I was able to modify that to get this thing to work. And then I got this thing to be in the right orientation, that I was able to write a little text command to write text, as you can see. So I wrote this little demo where it just shows you what button you're pressing. But yeah, and this is using all my own code. So I understand how everything is. The one thing about using my own code, or going through code little by little, is I understand the whole process of how you draw to the screen. So I am going to move forward with my projects of, I have a project that I need a microcontroller for, a set of falling back on Atmel. I'm going to do the project in Pico using C. And I just use Visual Studio. Once I got it set up on my laptop, it's pretty easy to use, but the setup process is a bit difficult. And one thing I learned is when people program an Arduino with these, it's kind of cool because Arduino is just, when you program Arduino with these, it's pretty much C++. So you can use the Arduino code. When people have Arduino code examples, you can use that Arduino code to see what's going on. I tried to program this in C++, and like I said, I'm a new programmer, and I wish that, since I got my computer science degree, I wish I had better skills, but I really didn't learn anything. It was pretty much just an endurance test. So I tried to use C++, and I could not figure out how to get everything laid out in a way that kind of made sense. So I programmed this in C, and I did do, I broke the program up in different C files and used header files, which I typically don't do that, but I did that to make the code easier. So I am getting used to breaking up the C files into different parts. But yeah, I'm going to use this setup for a project. Now the thing is, I was going through Ben Heck's code for his little game badge thing, and I want to try to use the way he's drawing graphics to the screen, use that. But I don't quite understand it because he's using DMA. And then if I did it that way, I can have sprites. So I'm hoping that that one guy, Ken, is kind of doing a video on the game badge, going through the game badge. I'm hoping that he walks through how the whole process works. And another thing, these Picos are dual core, so on the Ben Heck project, he's using one of the cores solely to write on the screen. So they have a frame buffer, and then the other core writes the frame buffer to the screen. And they use DMA, which I don't understand how exactly that works. I don't understand the DMA functions. But yeah, there's a lot to learn, but I thought I would make a video just saying that I am going to try to move forward on doing my projects on Pico instead of using Atmel. Okay, that's pretty much it. I thought I would just make a video just kind of showing off different things I'm getting into currently. And as you can see, yes, I still have Pizza Cam. I get asked about that like on a weekly basis. And, you know, I just have a lot of things going on, a lot of projects in the pipeline. You know, eventually I'll get back onto the animatronic stuff. But as for right now, it's just chilling here in the shed. As I'm posting this video on Friday, Lord willing, I'm making corned beef and cabbage. I was thinking about making a flapping video about that, but I couldn't. I didn't want to. I don't like editing a video on the same day I'm posting. So, plus, you know, I've done cooking videos in the past, and, you know, what do you have to learn from me? But I do want to say, like, it cost me, corned beef and cabbage cost me $48 for the meal by the time I bought everything. And that's with the corned beef on sale for $5 a pound. But, yeah, like I said, I thought I would post a video just explaining what's been going on. Like I said, I've been trying to post a video every Friday, and I kind of post whatever I want. So it's a whole plethora of content, whatever I'm getting into. But thanks for watching. I'll see you guys on the next one.